Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, I'm Dale Beaumont and welcome to another episode of Secrets Exposed. This is a series that takes you up close and personal with world-leading business experts. And our topic for this interview is, should I leave corporate and become an entrepreneur? That coming up in just a moment. My special guest today is author and consultant Gavin Sequeira. And our topic for this interview is, should I leave corporate and become an entrepreneur? Gavin, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Dale.
So tell me a little bit about your story, because were in corporate for a number of years, I think 11 years in fact, but then you decided to break free and you wrote a book all about it. But share with us your journey and where you were working and why you decided that you wanted to break free.
Yeah, look, I worked in corporate for about 11 years. I guess I started on the traditional path where, finished school, went to university, got a good job, and kind of went from there on. And
you're working for some big companies, right?
Yeah, I worked for companies like IBM, Oracle, big multinational companies, and there was a career progression path.
So you rose through the ranks?
Rose through the ranks and continued to rise and did an MBA, and I kind of followed this kind of proven path in the formula in the past. And after a number of years, I found, I wasn't kind of finding I was contributing to humanity or making a difference or really there was something lacking and I didn't know what it was.
And you talked about the fact that you were in a bubble. What do you sort of mean by that?
Yeah, look, I guess after a while, I felt like I was living in this ivory tower and there was this whole world out there. But if I stepped outside that tower, I really wasn't a part of it. It was quite interesting.
And so you could have kept going and gone up through the management positions and increased, your salary, but but you decided that you want a different path. So tell us what you did.
Yeah, look, I guess I was looking for answers. I didn't really have the questions, but I knew that I wasn't happy where I was. I was coming in every day. I was a little bit jaded. I lost a lot of motivation. I wasn't being inspired anymore. And I started reading a lot of books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I listened to a lot of Tony Robbins. I was listening to Jim Rohn. I had quite a few mentors. I read a few of your Secrets Exposed books as well. And I guess at the end of the day, I was looking for something that I could do with my stamp on it that I could make a difference to the rest of the world. Okay,
now we've got a whole bunch of questions that we've thought about, and I'm sure many people would be thinking and asking right now. So let's get into some of those.
Sure.
So what are the telltale signs that you may be looking for a change? If someone's in corporate right now, how do they know it's time to move on?
Yeah, look, I guess this was the telltale sign for me. I mean, I was bored. I was getting a bit fidgety. I was looking around. As soon as you realize that your heart's not in what you're meant to be doing, I think it's time to be looking and questioning, are you in the right place? So I guess looking at your why and, what is your main purpose? What are you looking to achieve? And I found that my why was really to help other people, and I wasn't quite achieving that in my role.
So what do you think people are sort of searching for when they're looking to break free? And is it just a case of them thinking the grass is greener on the other side, as opposed to just being happy where they are? So how do you kind of make that sort of decision? Because we always think things are better, in someone else's shoes, but it's not always the case. So how do you know?
Well, they always say the grass is greener on the other side, and for a lot of people who haven't stepped onto the other side, that's definitely true. I think you really need to look at, are you fulfilled and happy where you are? Because I think if you can make the most of your current opportunity, the grass will always be greener where you plant it, and where you water it. But I found that for what I wanted to achieve, I couldn't do it where I was. I was kind of being held back. It was almost like I was limited to what I could achieve and what I could contribute to. And that's where, when I looked at other opportunities, the grass is definitely greener for me, but I guess for a lot of other people as well.
And we've got some more questions to really help people decide, what is going to be the right path for them. But what do you think are some of the fears that hold people back? Because many people that want to break free, but it either takes them 5 or 10 years, or they actually never pull the trigger and they never do it. So what do you think holds people back?
Fear is the biggest thing. Fear of, well, I was going to say success, but actually fear of failure, because there's a lot of very successful people in corporate who are just not willing to get out of their comfort zone. because they've established a name, a reputation. They have a team. They've got some sort of a brand.
Because they've climbed to the top of one ladder, right? But
Correct.
they can't just jump to the top of the next one.
No, you can. It's a bit of a leap, but really what you've got to do is climb down from one ladder, and you've got to kind of
climb up the next.
And some people are not prepared to do that.
So they go from being a high flyer with maybe 100 staff
That's right.
to being on their own and being a nobody.
Absolutely. So that's one of the biggest fears. The other fear is not having the support and having people around you that can help you. When you're in a large corporate company like I was, you had the IT department, you had the finance department, I had management to help me, I had staff to help me on the other side. But when you're in your own business or when you're starting something, you're suddenly all on your own. That can be a lonely place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else? People are maybe wondering, can they sustain, being
Correct.
outside of that sort of structure as well?
Yeah, and I guess this is the other thing. When you're in a corporate structure or in any kind of job situation, you've got a steady paycheck that's coming in. So you tend to rely on that, and your life revolves around that. The minute you step out of that, it's very up and down. And some people are not prepared to take that risk. And if they do, can they sustain it? Can it sustain their lifestyle?
Yeah, so it feels a bit sort of negative at the moment, but we will get more positive later on.
Yeah.
Because let's get all the fears kind of on the table.
Absolutely.
Because these are the things that really hold people back.
They're real.
And they're real concerns.
Absolutely.
And another thing that people would say is, but I have a wife, or I have a husband, or I have a mortgage, I have
Yep.
kids,
Yep.
those type of things. I've got all of these responsibilities and expenses.
Yep.
And going from a good paycheck to nothing, that can be quite scary.
Absolutely. Look, you have to factor other people into your lifestyle decisions. If you are married or you've got a family or you've got kids or you've got other people around you that you care about, I think whatever you're about to do, you need to take their situation into consideration. If you're on your own and you're prepared to take the risk and you're not risk averse, go for it. But a lot of people, these are very real concerns. And for a lot of people, do I risk going into something that's a bit of an unknown when I've got bills to pay, I've got a mortgage to pay, can really hold people back.
Okay, now you've got 3 questions that you suggest people ask themselves in order to decide whether or not it's maybe time to take that leap. So let's go through those 3 questions right now. What should people be thinking about or considering?
Absolutely. Look, number one, I'd say you want to ask yourself why and what is your main purpose for wanting to leave your job. If you're happy where you are, if you can see a real good career progression, if things are looking positive and upbeat, you might not need to move. But if you're in a position where there's something you've always wanted to do, a burning desire, and you just can't get there where you're currently based, then that's the first question.
Okay.
Examine your why.
And the second one was around helping people to get clear on their goals or dreams or lifestyle. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of people who have built a lifestyle around their work situation. And, if you're working 9 to 5, well, then your lifestyle fits around that. If you're working 11 months of the year to take 1 month off, then your lifestyle fits around that. But if you want something different, if you want to maybe travel for 6 months of the year and you might not be able to do that in a corporate environment, unless you're very lucky. But you might need to then say, well, okay, am I in the right place? Do I need to do something different? Create the situation to allow me to live that lifestyle.
Okay, and the other one as well is about really getting clear on what's holding you back, like asking yourself that question. Why is that important to really get to those issues?
I think it's critical because a lot of people are taught in a certain way. I know when you go through the traditional model of school and university and then corporate and you go in that direction, you're taught to fit into that model. The minute you start questioning that, can I do it? For example, will I succeed? Have I got people around me that'll support me? Suddenly these become very real issues. So limiting beliefs is something that you might want to examine. And are there things that are holding you back? And you might not even be aware of these things.
And would you recommend at this point, like getting a sort of a coach or an advisor, someone to kind of help you think through this decision, or should you just do it yourself?
I definitely think it's worthwhile talking to someone. Look, sometimes you don't know the right questions to ask, and you don't even really know the path that you need to be going to examine yourself. And when there's someone who's done it before or helped other people, I think they can get you to ask yourself the right questions, bring out the fears or bring out the things that are holding you back, and then turn it around. So I definitely think it's worthwhile talking to someone else.
All right, great. So now that we've gone through a lot of the concerns that people have, if you're still watching, then make sure that you keep watching, because when we get back from this short break, we're going to talk about, well, if you're still here and you're still committed, what to do next? How do you make that transition? When is the right time? Should you just go cold turkey? Do you do it in stages? When do you tell your boss? All of that and more is coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to our interview all about should I leave corporate and become an entrepreneur? All right, Gavin, we've got some more questions to go through. So when is the right time to make your move?
I think the right time is, well, to be honest, you'll know when it's the right time because you just won't want to walk into that old place again. And I've had that happen to me when I've just walked in one day, after 11 years, I walked in one day into my job and I just went, I don't fit in here anymore. It was really quite an epiphany moment. It's like, I really can't do this anymore. And look, sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes there might be other circumstances, but I think you'll know if you're just not feeling, if you're not feeling good about it internally, your gut will tell you, your every fiber of your being will tell you you're meant to be somewhere else doing something else. And I think the minute you reach that point, you need to start looking.
Okay, great answer.
Yeah.
Now, should you just go cold turkey, or should you actually have a transition plan? Should you reduce your hours, reduce your days? What do you recommend?
Yeah, look, I think you'd have to be pretty brave to go cold turkey. I did think about it, but then again, when you hear a lot of the statistics out there, with a lot of small businesses when they start out, there's a very grim chance of them actually making it past the first year. I say to give yourself the best shot, you probably want to transition. And I think take the time, plan it.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.